Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Here's your daily news report and fourth stimulus check update. The House of Representatives has just delayed a vote to advance President Biden's economic agenda. Some Americans will soon receive an extra $1,600 extra payment from the Internal Revenue Service. Thank you so much, everyone. The House scrapped a planned vote to advance two key economic proposals as centrist Democrats and party leaders failed to break a stalemate over how to proceed with President Biden's sprawling economic agenda. House Democrats hope to take a procedural vote as early as this afternoon. Biden's domestic policy goals and his party's push to retain control of Congress in next year's midterms could hinge on whether Democrats find a compromise. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has pushed to pass a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill and her party's separate $3.5 trillion spending plan at the same time. This process could take weeks or months, as the House needs to join the Senate in passing a budget resolution before lawmakers write a final proposal. 9 members of Pelosi's caucus, enough to cost her a majority vote if they defect, urged the California Democrat to approve the Senate-passed infrastructure legislation this week and send it to Biden's desk. Pelosi wants to pair the bills to ensure the centrists wary of a $3.5 trillion price tag and progressive who consider the infrastructure plan inadequate back both measures. These 9 lawmakers oppose Pelosi's plan to vote Monday on a measure that would advance the infrastructure bill, the budget plan, and separate voting rights legislation. Pelosi aimed to approve the budget resolution as soon as today, then hold a final vote on the infrastructure bill only after Democrats write their final spending plan and the Senate had approved it. Asked as she left the Capitol early Tuesday if lawmakers would set a date for an infrastructure vote, Nancy Pelosi responded, "We will see tomorrow, won't we now?"
Robust discussion this morning about a variety of issues that are in front of us as a country and, of course, throughout the world, with an emphasis and focus on the fact that we are going to move H.R. 4, the John Robert Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, today as part of the effort to make sure we push back against the intense voter suppression that we've seen take shape all across America and protect our democracy, not for Democrats or Republicans or independents, for Americans, because free and fair are central to our liberty. And we will channel that in the spirit of the great John Lewis when we move H.R. 4 shortly this afternoon, and hopefully there'll be Republicans who will join us. That remains to be seen. We also, of course, are continuing to move forward to advance President Biden's agenda on behalf of working families, the middle class, everyone who aspires to be part of the middle class, the poor, the sick, the afflicted, the least, the lost, and the left behind, young people, seniors, veterans, everyday Americans. President Biden appropriately said we were going to build back better. We cannot go back to normal because prior to, we know that approximately half of the American people reported that they couldn't afford a sudden, unexpected $400 expense. This is in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. That's unacceptable. We are not going back to that. We're going to build back better. And part of that agenda involves the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which we're going to advance. And part of that is going to be the Build Back Better Act that involves jobs and tax cuts and lower expenses for families, children, and everyday Americans. And we're committed to getting that done. Let me yield to our distinguished Vice Chair. And let me also mention that we're joined today by the 3 distinguished co-chairs of the National Security Task Force. They'll all be introduced in short order. We're thankful for their presence, for their life experiences, for the service that they've already given to the nation before they were all sworn in on January.
Now, the Internal Revenue Service reported that another 1.5 million taxpayers will receive refunds averaging more than $1,600 as they continue to adjust unemployment compensation from previously filed income tax returns. This is the 4th repayment after Congress changed tax laws relating to unemployment aid. Usually, unemployment benefits are subject to federal tax, but President Biden's American Rescue Plan set a limit of $10,200 before any tax is paid. Any unemployment aid under this value would not be subject to any tax, and those who overpaid are being retroactively refunded. For this round, the Internal Revenue Service identified approximately 1.5 million taxpayers who are now expected to receive a big refund. The big refund average is $1,686. These refunds come as the extra federal unemployment benefits are due to end in September. The Internal Revenue Service has had a historic number of tax returns to account. Currently, the backlog stands at a staggering 35 million tax returns to manually process. Most taxpayers do not need to do anything to receive the refund. However, the Internal Revenue Service notes that the taxpayer should file Form 1040-X if they are now eligible for new reductions, and this is due to the change in tax law. Taxpayers should file an amended return if they, number 1, did not submit a Schedule 8812 with the original return to claim the additional child tax credit, and are now eligible for the credit after the unemployment compensation exclusion. Number 2, did not submit a Schedule EIC with the original return to claim the earned income tax credit. Or number 3, are now eligible for any credits and or deductions not mentioned above. Please make sure to include any required forms or schedules with your tax returns. The IRS says those who receive a refund will receive a letter within 30 days explaining what kind of adjustment was made to their tax returns and why they were able to receive some of it back. As of May 2021, the IRS had a backlog of 35 million tax returns to manually process. Couple this with the impact of home working, and bringing this number down becomes an almighty task. A report from the National Taxpayer Advocate states that the 2021 filing season was a perfect storm, as the agency had to deal with 12 million returns from 2020, changes to tax laws from the American Rescue Plan, the child tax credit, and increased unemployment benefits, not to mention the stimulus checks that have been sent out over the last 18 months. So everyone, that's the end of the video for this morning. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here today.